Hey, thanks for joining, guys. Right now we are just waiting for Sarah to join us. She should be here any minute. Well, for those of you that are here already, while we're waiting for Sarah to join us, today we are going to be discussing Nirel, and it is a high fantasy with lots of magic, lots of twists, lots of turns, and 2 love interests. Pour up, and we'll be good to go. Patience, lovelies. Okay, well, while we're waiting, I'll go ahead and tell you a little bit about what we're doing. So, for those of you who are unfamiliar with me or who I am and what I do, my name is Red, and we do sessions called Under the Cover, where we dive into books with live interviews with the author. We're going to be doing a live interview with Sarah Emmer talking about her newest release, Nirel. And it is an amazing fantasy, I promise you guys. It is way worth the read. So right now we're just waiting for her to pop up. And we'll be ready to go. We are a little bit early. Kind of jumped the gun a little bit. That's alright though. Oh, Sarah. There we are.
Okay, I can hear you, yes.
Are we connected now?
I think so.
Alright, good deal. My technology is not my strong suit, and it is not. There we go.
Me either. I'm a writer, not a tech wizard.
I don't know what I got myself into. No, I'm kidding. All right. All right, guys. So today, Under the Cover with Red, we're going to be talking about Nirel. Ooh, I'm knocking stuff over. With the one and only Sarah Emmer. And this isn't your first fantasy, right?
It is. It's my debut novel.
Shut up. It is not your first fantasy. You just blew my mind a little bit more. That's insane. What?
Yeah.
What? You did so well with this. I would never, honestly, I would have never have guessed that in a million years that this is your first fantasy debut. It it is extreme high fantasy. It's got magic. Nirel, the main character, is amazing. She's kind of like if you could picture yourself as being, excuse my language, a badass, magical, you know what I mean? Story, it would be her. It would definitely be her. So what was like your inspiration? You mean like tell me a little bit about it. What kind of led to Narelle and her story?
So, it was actually born from this is not true. It was the idea was born from trauma. Um, a lot of people that I love have died, and my kids have disabilities, and I'm just like, if I was a healer,
Right. What would you do with that?
exactly. So, like Nirel's struggle with accepting her dad's death, that's 100% real.
Yeah.
And you know, the book does deal with a lot of people who perish. Again, all of that's like they're not based on real people, but I really wanted something where we faced a lot of these same traumas. She had more control over the situation. Some of them
Yeah.
she didn't, and then some of them she did. And so, like, especially like when she like, oh, I can't. That's a spoiler. But like the people that she's able to save and stuff like that, like those are like just like those moments like where like any of us who maybe have experienced those moments of like loss of control,
It's
we get to
phenomenal.
kind of see what it would feel like if we had control over
Yeah,
it.
absolutely. Yeah, no, definitely. You can tell that the emotions in it come from some from a genuine place. Like I said, I can't I'm still stuck on the fact that this is your first fantasy because it's just it's so smooth. It really is. Like normally when you come across a new author, you know what I mean, and I mean no offense to any of you that are new authors in any way, shape, or form, but sometimes you know what I mean, especially with something that's fantasy, it can kind of be a little much. You know what I mean? Like sometimes they can go a little. They can lay it on a little heavy. It can be thick, but it's not. Like it's so perfect. The way that you describe the emotions and the some of the things that Norel experiences, it comes from a really genuine place, and it so that makes it easy to be able to relate with that character really well. The fact that she's got two love interests. I don't want to be too much of a spoiler, but let's just say the romance in it's subtle, but it leaves so much open for book two. So I'm hoping because I'm gonna be following this one for sure. I'm hoping that in book two, she at least gets to pick and choose somewhere along that line.
Yes, I'm actually writing book two right now, really diving into it. So yeah, it'll be fun.
No, it definitely will. What's your favorite parts? Like what in the writing experience of going through this, with it being your first one, what was your favorite and what would have been your worst, like your hardest tribulation as far as just getting through it, powering through it?
The writing process. Um, I would say my favorite part is probably like I love actually writing, sitting and writing for hours and just getting lost in the world and feeling all of it. Like, I mean, I'm just trying to keep myself from swearing out the storm because that's how I am when I get excited about things. I just,
I'm I'm the same way. It's terrible.
yeah, I'm like, uh, I look like a mom, but I swear like a sailor. Like,
Yeah, amen, sister.
yeah, but yeah, I think just for me, yeah, you know what? I would say my favorite part about writing is how I get to control everything.
Yeah.
And then if I want to change something, it's like I'm a god in this book.
Amen. Yes. And that's gotta feel good, especially with a story like this, because so much happens. Like you, if you want to talk about a page turner, Nirel is the one because it's just nonstop from the. I don't want to release too much, but from the time that like that she's taken from the first traumatic experience that she goes through in the beginning of the book to quite literally the last chapter, like, and she's still standing, like she still powers through it, she's still pushing through it, and within each chapter you can see her character develop more. She becomes more of a badass, like, you know what I mean, she starts to understand who she is and she freaking owns it, and I'm here for it. I love a strong FMC. Probably my favorite thing about fantasy books is when there's a strong FMC, so I'm here for Norel.
I'm so glad because I really wanted to show how she has like a strength, but it's more of like this internal drive to keep going. Like, she doesn't know how to fight with a sword. Like she learns, but so I'm really glad that that strength comes across because I literally was like, took this character and I was like, how strong do I want to be?
And it's
There we go.
persistent. Yes, and it's persistence. Like no matter what she goes through, no matter what obstacle she's faced with, she's like, I'm gonna overcome this because I am that I'm that bish. You know what I mean? Like you're not gonna tell me otherwise. Like once she finds out like what she's capable of and who she is, it's done. It's a wrap. Like I feel bad for anybody that stands in her way for the rest of the series. Because it's gonna be total annihilation.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah,
Um, can
I
I ask you a question though?
yeah, for sure.
So out of the two guys, are you leaning towards one or the other?
I'm so torn because I'm here for you know what I mean, like I'm here for the double love interest. Um like if I had my choice, she could pick both.
But then I
No,
don't
but
care.
but honestly, to pick between the two because they're both super significant characters throughout the whole entire book. Um Jace he's like he's the cinnamon roll, and you know what I mean. I feel like he is so his character is so underestimated, and then you've got the seer, you know what I mean, the arch nemesis, so to speak, who's going to step in his way, and he's already there. You know what I mean? He's already got the power. He's already established. He already is who he is, so he thinks. And so I don't know. Like I don't know who I want her to choose. I want to say
Yes.
she's going to choose Jade. I in my heart I want to say who that's going to choose, but I don't feel like it is. I honestly don't. I'm torn at this point. I don't know. I need more. I need more.
Well, you are definitely going to get more. Like I am actually writing as fast as I can. I'm trying to get the next book, which is called Dissonance, trying to get that out in December if I can.
Nice.
If I can.
Nice. Super super close. That is going to be awesome.
Yeah, so that's the goal.
And Jace's okay, so I've got to back up for a minute just because we brought the whole character dynamics up with her and her love interest. So the fact that I just have to bring up Jason without it being too much of a spoiler. He's I don't know. He might have the other guy might have met his match. He might have met his match. I didn't. The scene with the king. You guys that are just now joining, we're talking about Nirel, by Sarah Emmer. It is available on Audible, Amazon, KU. Go check it out. It's a fantasy. If you are a lover of magic, portal magic, badass FMCs, double love interests, you're definitely going to want to check Norel out. Um, just a sidebar there. But the scene there towards the end with the king, like I don't know. I did he start it? I have to ask. I know that I know that a lot of people that haven't read it aren't gonna know what I'm talking about. But for my own personal sake, I've got to know. Did he start that fire, or because I don't know if maybe I just happened to be too busy at the time or what. But like I in my heart I know he really didn't. But
So
like was it
Jace,
an accidental thing?
did Jace start the fire?
Yeah, like well, because I
No,
okay.
no.
Okay, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. I had to make sure because I was gonna
You're
be
the
devastated,
second
even
person
if it
who's
was an
asked me
accidental
that.
thing.
Yeah, no, it's okay. No, you're the second person who's asked me that. And then even Nirel in book two is going to be like, was it an accident?
Yeah.
And he's like, excuse me,
Beg,
no.
beg your pardon? The audacity?
Yeah, yeah. So it's going to be really fun for, well, I don't want to spoil it because that's like the biggest thing. It's going to be fun
Yeah.
with Jace's character arc in book two. Let's put it that way.
Okay. Okay. I
um,
can handle that. I can grasp onto that.
yes, yes. There's going to be a lot of learning involved.
Mm. I'm ready for it. I'm so ready for it. I'm here for it. Like I went through like I typically like when I read a book, if especially if I'm really into it, I'm scrolling through it. Like I am such a fast reader. So and something like this, I read super quick, and it is not a light read. Like it's a hefty fantasy book. You know what I mean? Like it is a hefty book. It is a big read, and I finished it. I feel like way super fast. It's even for me. Um, and then I even went through and I had to I have certain highlights throughout the whole entire book. Like just quotes like quotes and things like that. Like and I don't usually do that, but sometimes you know what I mean. Like if it strikes me and it sticks with me, it sticks with me. And like that, one of my other previous interviews that I had done, one of my other arcs that I had read, the same thing happened. And it's just one of those books that I've already recommended it to three people, just right off the rib. Like I'm like you've got to go and you've got to download it. If you don't, give me your Kindle and I'll do it for you.
And one thing I do have to say though, like if you guys like audiobooks, I I hired two people, Grace Noble and Bo Thomas, and they narrated the audiobook. And I wrote the damn thing, and I keep listening to it over and over and over because their performances are so fucking perfect.
That is awesome.
Okay, Grace sounds exactly how I imagine Nirel in my head, and then Bo, if you like the men just reading it, you need to hear how he voices them because
Yeah.
it's so hot.
I don't know if I can handle it. I don't know if that's something I can take. I have to anytime because typical my audios when I play them they vary. They very much vary. So I have to make sure that anytime I listen to an audible that I can't be in a public view
Yes,
because
the only not safe for work one is chapter 39, I think. Other than that, you should be pretty good.
okay, perfect. Because I'm a very I'm a very expressional reader. So you know what I mean I could be in a super public place and everybody be minding their business and you know what I mean I'll be ever looking like
Oh my gosh, you should like do some stories with that because that would be hilarious. You'd be like trying to grocery shop and whoop, that would be really funny. The
wait.
eggplants come out. Oh dear.
It's worse that I don't have a filter. So if I'm listening to it and I'm in public, it's even worse because I'm the one that'll shout. I'll be like, oh, what? Have everybody just drawn like I mean I guess it's good for advertising though. Yeah, it's like hey
Yeah, yeah. Usually when
plug
I'm
plug
out in
mine
public, I'm
there.
chasing my littles around, so it's just like, excuse me, little's coming through.
Yeah, I can tell you, mine are 9 and 6, so I definitely understand that.
Holy crap, our kids are like almost the same age of mine now, are 10 and 6.
Nice, that's awesome.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
sweet is that?
Yeah, but my 6-year old is disabled and he is developmentally about 2.
Oh,
So it's like just keeping a very large toddler safe all the time, and it doesn't make it easy.
yeah, no, I
Mm.
bet. But hey, you're a super mom for it. You absolutely are.
Things. And another thing is, I this might not be noticeable to others who like haven't who aren't in like a disability community, but Prince Anthony is he has 2 conditions. He has autism and apraxia of speech, which I don't label it as such, but he's based on my oldest son.
Oh,
So,
that's amazing. That
oh,
oh that makes me want it even that much more. That is absolutely amazing because he overcomes so much like with his you know what I mean like it's clear that you know what I mean like you can tell in describing his character you know what I mean you can tell that there's obviously something that's not wrong but you know what I mean just a little bit off you know something that's
yes,
different.
yes.
And when Nirel is introduced to him and she figures out what's going on and the way that she works with him like just you telling me that that's based on your older son like I now I can see you with your you know what I mean with your baby doing the same thing that Nirel did with the prince and helping him in the same ways and that like that's a heartthrob.
Oh, yeah. So my oldest didn't speak until he was 3. So I just obviously with Prince Anthony, I upped that age a lot, and so I just literally had Nirel do a lot of the stuff that the speech therapists would do.
Yeah.
But like I really, really wanted that rep in there. I'm like, we need more rep.
Yes. Well,
So
and it makes it extra special because I can relate because my youngest daughter, she was like that. Like she's never been formally diagnosed with anything, but she didn't speak, didn't mumble a word until she was about three and a half, and then she just took off one day, and
good.
yeah, and just hasn't stopped, just never stopped, and it was insane because. You know what I mean, like everybody was so concerned for the longest time, and I was like, you know, what I mean, just give her time. You know, just give them time they'll come about when they're ready. You know what I mean? And it wasn't that she didn't know the words or know how to do it, just like with the prince.
Oh,
It's that she just couldn't communicate from the brain to the you know what I mean to form the words out. But once she grasped that concept and she like I said, she took off
yeah.
and now you can't stop her. Like she's in speech and everything. She has a little bit of an impediment still. But it's amazing. You know what I mean? So I definitely had a special connection with the character in that sense. So I can
Makes
I
me
can
so
for
happy.
sure yeah. So I can for sure relate to where you came from there. So I yeah, and it is a special moment. It is, and even with the queen, you know what I mean? Like when the queen when she heard him speak for the first time, if you're a parent and you have ever experienced that, like you know firsthand the joy that comes out of that. To you know, what I mean, just to hear that the relief and you're just beyond yourself. You really are. You're beyond yourself. It's a super prideful moment, and to be able to share that with your book characters in a way that is genuinely relatable is super special.
Thank you. Yeah, and it's going to continue in book 2. I actually have a character with IBS that we'll be working
Oh,
with.
yes.
So that'll be fun to try to write that
I can't wait
tastefully.
to see how, yeah, I can't wait to see how you incorporate that. I can't. It's gonna be amazing, especially if it has anything to do with Nirel, because that she has a heart of gold. Like honestly, if I don't feel like you could have constructed a character that has healing magic any better than you did with Nirel. Just from her
You make me cry.
personality, like it's true though. It really is. Like and I get like this when I you know, I mean I get excited when I you mean when I really like something and I really liked Nirel. I really did. Like truly honestly. The way that her character presents herself, like one thing that I don't like is a whiny FMC. You know what I mean? Like I'm sorry, you know what I mean? Like to each their own, but I can't handle it. I can't, it gets to me and grinds my gears. And Irel is the complete opposite. Like she goes through so much and faces so much, and she's like, okay, fudge it. You know what I mean? Let's put the big girl pants on and we're rolling with it. You know, you want to throw it at me, throw it all at me, and I'll catch it all. And that's how she is throughout the whole thing. You know what I mean? And her naivety, how I guess you would say it. Her, you know what I mean? She's still got a youthfulness to her. You know what I mean? So it
Only
makes
20.
yeah,
So,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
So it makes her a little naive, but even still, even through that, you know what I mean? So and I feel like a lot of younger women will be able to relate to that character in that same sense too, because like if you've ever been through any kind of, you know what I mean, any I guess I don't want to necessarily say trauma because it's not always just trauma. Any kind of hard experience that you felt like was just that was it. You know what I mean? It's going to take you down. And to read a book that's got a character that makes it through the inevitable and comes out, you know what I mean, the other side just and multiplies her significance is a lot. You know, and so that was big in this story. You did phenomenal.
Thank you. One thing I really wanted to make sure when I was writing is, I actually struggled with depression. So when I was writing this, I was like, I don't want to fall into the things that I struggle with. If I could be a certain way, how would I be? And so I wrote her like that. And I was hoping to kind of give people like myself some hope.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. No,
it's like
you
I never
definitely did
wanted her
that.
to go, I could end it all. Because that's where I would have gone after being kidnapped and stuff. That's where I would have gone. So,
Oh yeah,
so
absolutely. I
that,
feel like
so I,
any yeah, any semi-sane person would have jumped there. You know what I mean?
yeah. So I really hope like the goal, like there are themes and there's the whole fantasy stuff, but like I really, really wanted to give something for people who are struggling with mental health or trauma, especially grief, something that they could read and relate to, feel seen and cared about. Like that's literally the goal. So like anyone with any of those things, like if they're reading it and they feel something, that was my goal.
Yeah,
Like
and they will. They definitely will. For sure, because if you can make it through this whole entire book and not feel something, then you've got to be heartless. Like, you've got to be heartless.
I recry when I read certain parts.
Yeah, like my husband probably thinks I'm insane because I'm sure he's gotten used to it by now. But like, I'll just be, there. I can remember there was a specific scene in here, and I could just looked up, and he was like, "Are you good?" No, I'm absolutely not. I mean, and I'm just bawling, but it's
Just like tell me
okay.
what part, like so don't spoil it, but like tell me what part. I need to know.
Okay, so I'm a sap. Okay, I'm a super sap. So when um she just realizes that she might love Jace, and she thinks that she's going to choose him to marry him, or I mean, to she's that's the path she's going to take. We're going to Jace, and then she finds out that he's being sent away, and there's a possibility that they don't make it when they get to the scene when they're trying to um I guess be the help, you know what I mean, so to speak. Yeah, when they're marching to join with the rest of the army, and there's a spot in there where I mean, I think they're ambushed if I'm not mistaken, or something happens, and they almost die. Like it takes half of them out, and I couldn't with it. I couldn't. If you kill him off, we might have to have words, ma'am.
No, I don't kill mains. Side
Good.
characters, sorry, none of them are safe. Um, except Bernard.
I
Bernard is
feel like
safe.
we could do without him though.
I love Bernard. I actually killed him in the first draft of my novel.
No, you did not.
I did instead of one of the others in that ambush. And I sobbed.
Yeah, I would have too. I don't know if I
And
couldn't have done it.
I was like, and then I was sitting there just, tears everywhere, going, I feel like I just killed my neighbor. My neighbor. Oh shit, Bernard's my neighbor. So I have a neighbor who, so since my dad's been gone for a long time, I go to my neighbor for help.
I
When my
would
car's
too.
broken down, anything, and he'll be like, "Oh yeah, I've got the battery thing here. Let's go plug that in." Or, it's like, "Oh, you're pregnant. Here, let me carry you in your groceries for you, sweetheart." You know,
Aw.
like,
Aw.
back
That's
when I was pregnant with,
so cute of him.
So, and that's when I realized, and I literally like marched over and I was like, "Lindsay, I just killed you in my book." And he was like, "What are you talking about?" And I was like, "I'm really upset about
That's perfect though because it's just like him. Like he in it because his character Bernard is such. I call him Bernie. He's my Bernie.
it.
Bernie is such a heartthrob. Like he's such a father figure. You know what I mean? And he gets Nirel through so much. So I don't know if you to kill him. I don't know, man. I
It would
I
not
don't
have been okay. So yeah,
it,
so
I don't know that it
I
probably I
ended
don't know
up
that it would have been the
completely
same.
rewriting the beginning, and I was like, "You stay here, Bernard. I love you." And then I rewrote him to like, I'm like, he needs to stay in the capital so I can keep him with Nirel. Come here, Bernard. Let's do this.
Let me just coddle you, keep you safe.
Love you. And now, it's like my neighbor knows now, and he's like, "You should just kill him." And I'm like, "Shut up."
That is that I don't know whether to say that's terrible or that's amazing.
He's hilarious. He has a very dry sense of humor, my neighbor. So
That's awesome. That is awesome. So are those the only life-based characters that you have? I'm coming to the conclusion now that your characters are so well written because they're based more on real life people to you. You know what I mean? So your characters, because I feel like a lot of authors, their characters are always, you know what I mean? And I say this a lot, but when you write a book and you write your characters and you imagine them up, it's like a piece of your soul. Like you're laying it out on the paper. So to be able to relate that to something that you can really feel and you genuinely can relate to it and like you felt it, it makes it that much more authentic.
So what I think is like any characters that I realized were based on other people was a complete accident. I didn't do it on purpose for anyone except Anthony. Anthony was on purpose. Bernard, complete accident. Let's see who else. Um, well, Jace has a little bit of someone, but I can't really say that because then it might spoil something. But Jace's personality, okay. Jace physically is based off of someone, but his personality is completely different. If
Okay,
that
that
makes
makes
sense.
sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Corvin, he's one of my most difficult characters. He's not based on anybody. He's just, I think, all of the gray that swirls around in my head, it needs to be let out.
That makes sense. That absolutely makes sense. Especially like after you're reading the book and you get to know the characters a lot better. That definitely makes sense. He
Oh,
he's got a little bit of a twist to him, doesn't he?
uh, yeah. One thing though that I recently discovered that I didn't discover until after the book was published is my villain is based off of my great grandfather. And
Well,
the way Corbin is treated is very similar to how my grandfather was treated. And I didn't even realize that I had done it
it's
until
crazy how that happens, isn't
I
it?
saw my grandfather and he was talking about it. And I was like, oops,
No.
I thought that was all me. I guess
That's
not.
crazy. It's like it's almost like somewhere in your subconscious, like you just knew. You know what I mean? That's
I
insane.
grew up I grew up with stories and like I cannot even tell them on social media because I'll get in trouble.
Yeah.
Like it would take it down, the stuff that is so bad, like that he did to him. So I mean like Corvin was more physically hurt, but my poor grandfather, dear God. Anyway, so
Yeah, no,
yeah, so
I believe me, I'm sure if we could, if we only had the time to compare the stories, like, so I get it, girl. I completely get it. Yeah, I'm glad that you were able to express it in a way that is kind of relieving. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. You were able to share the characters but and their backstory in a way that even though some of them had some really heavy backstories, some of them came from some really difficult places. But you did it in a way that didn't weigh heavy on you. You know what I mean? As the reader.
that was the goal. I really like I deal with a lot of tough subjects, but I don't ever want someone like it's okay if they cry, but like I don't want to depress someone. That is not the goal.
Yeah.
The goal is to
Right.
tell a good story that entertains you and makes you feel something, hopefully good.
Yeah.
By
Yeah.
by the end, better get writing. But
You're gonna feel good in parts, that's for sure.
I mean, yeah.
That ending though, I don't know. I gripe about cliffhangers, but this was one that I didn't mind.
Really? Oh, good.
This was a cliffy that I didn't mind only because it left the door open in a way that it's not like agonizing because that's a lot of times like I'll get to a cliffhanger and it crushes my soul, especially if the second book is not out because I'm one that I just want to dive right in. Like I am an obsessive reader. I just want to go until there is nothing left in the series and I'm burnt out. But the way that Nirel ends, it leaves it in a cliffy that isn't grueling. You know what I mean? Like it leaves it open so that you're I didn't get aggravated with it. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't
Mhm.
upset that I was upset that the book was over, but I wasn't mad that I have to wait for the next book to come.
Yeah, it was, and like I said, like I don't kill mains, and so I made sure that that was that you weren't questioning that. Like, oh no, did they live? It's like, well, obviously.
Yeah. I needed that comfort right about then too. So thank you for
Yeah.
that.
Sorry. Poor Jace.
No, yeah, for real though. Poor Jace, he just keeps he can't win. He can't freaking win, man. That poor fella. And that breaks my heart. Because I feel like the more I talk about him and the more I talk about this more book, the more I fall for him. Truly and unequivocally. You know, just to hell with everyone else. If I could just pull him out and live my happily ever after, we would be all right.
It's like he's a good guy. He's actually a good guy. He's not perfect. But you know, I loves him.
I do
I
too.
love Corbin too. So I loves all of them.
I do too. I see, and I'm a sucker for the bad boys. You know what I mean? At the same time, so where Jace is he's a kind of a secret cinnamon roll in a way. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't want everybody on the outside to know how much he cares and protects Nirel, but we all do. We all know. But
Um,
and Corbin on the other hand, he just flat out doesn't care. Like he's like, I want you, you're mine, and like you want to talk possessive. Like he's one of them characters where he knows what's gonna happen. I won't tell you how he knows, but he knows what's gonna happen before anybody else knows, and he knows that
mhm.
Nigel is gonna be his. But the twist that you throw in there on that just goes to prove that not everything is laid out in stone. You know, our fate is based on choices 100%. And Nirel is facts for that.
Yes.
If anybody's gonna jump in the middle of a plot and create a hole and blow it wide the hell open, it's Nirel.
Yes. I'm just, oh gosh. I'm really, really, really excited because I have some monster twists coming up in this series that I'm hoping no one will see coming. And I literally just can't wait to see how everyone responds. Like I'm thrilled that you've liked the twists so far. And I like just I'm like, I need to finish this book yesterday. So
Oh, I'm here for it. I'm here for it all day. It was what keeps me going though. You know what I mean? Like I love when you never know what's going to happen in the next chapter. You know what I mean? Like you could have the way you do it, you could have the whole I okay, so let's just say that halfway through the book I thought that I already knew how it was going to end. You know what I mean? I was like, okay, yeah, no. Absolutely freaking not. Not even close. Not
There might have been a few things that got turned around.
even close. Did not see any of that coming.
Good.
and,
But
and so I've got to ask because I mean I know just reading it, but looking like at the cover, so this is Jace, correct?
yes, yes,
And Corbin. Okay, that's what I
yes,
thought. I assumed based on the descriptions, but I needed to be clear. Just
yes.
it just it
One of my
cements it to me a little
sensitivity
more.
readers told me to stop mentioning um skin color and stuff. They're like, just describe the character and don't like throw what they look like at us all the time. People, so I think that, and that's why I had a sensitivity reader,
Yeah, you
So
did
like I
it. You
only
did it.
mentioned his skin tone I think once or twice, and then other than that, but like,
But
yeah,
it was enough though, you know what I mean? It was sufficient enough that you could grasp what he looked like and you did it upon his introduction. And I think that's a good way, you know what I mean, to introduce a character in their appearance.
cool.
Yeah.
Phew.
Um it's yeah, because it's I prefer the you know what I mean if an author is going to go into describing an appearance of a character, I'd rather it be upon an introduction. You know what I mean? Especially if it's going to be like the FMC meeting them, you know what I mean? Like I need that reaction. You know what I mean? It's not just something that I want. I need that reaction from the FMC so that, you know what I mean? I can, I guess, put myself in her shoes a little better. You know what I mean? So to be able to see it through her eyes, so to speak, you know what I mean, it is a lot better, I think, than just a complete repetitiveness of it. Like, you know what I mean? You get through the book and you're like, oh, I'm so in love with his dark brown deep eyes. Like, you know what I mean? And no. That's too much. You
Yeah,
know what
I
I
had
mean?
to take out a lot of brown eyes and blue eyes.
Well, in your defense, they're pretty dang striking. Corbin's, I feel like if Corbin were a real person and he stared at me too hard, he would probably see into my soul. And I don't know if I like that too well.
Oh gosh, I want a real Corwin, but with
Right?
like a Jade personality.
If only, if only. It
Like,
goes back to like the video I made
please
the other day.
come
Like, why
in.
can't I just be real? Why can't I summon my own Corbin? I need
I
that in my life.
know. It's like, can you tell me if I won't have any car crashes on the way? I have anxiety, okay?
I just need to know, but at the same time, I'll be the type that I need to know, but I don't. But don't tell me. Lay it on me easy. And then I noticed, like, and something else that you did that was a little bit different that I noticed is you put your trigger warnings like in the back of the book, and I like that. You don't see that very often, you know what I mean? So I like that you announce that there are triggers throughout the series. You know what I mean? You add a reference in, you know what I mean, so that people can refer back to it. They can look at them, check them out. But it's not like an in your face thing. You know what I mean? A lot of times, if there are any kind of triggers in a book, then people are automatically like, which, and I get, you know what I mean? I completely understand that. You know what I mean? You want your readers to be comfortable with the book that they're picking up. But it's not. It also leaves a little bit of a surprise. I feel like, you know what I mean? Because I guess I'm not very triggering. You know what I mean? So I kind of glaze through a lot of trigger warnings as it is anyway. But the fact that you put them in the back, so you know what I mean, they were still there, but they weren't in your face. It's not the very first thing as soon as you open the book is, oh, this is you better watch out because this is what you got coming.
So trigger warnings,
They can be
because I
intimidating.
have depression, I have to look at them as a reader. Because like I can actually get hurt mentally by reading something. Like there are some very popular books I can't read. I would like to, but I know that I can't.
Yeah,
So I wanted to make sure. Now my triggers are different from other triggers. Like I don't have my triggers in my book, but I know for other people, you know, it's
yeah,
gonna hurt them. So like I really wanted to find that balance of
yeah,
like people who don't want to know, they're not gonna see it right up, but still then they know like, hey, this is a book for adults.
yeah.
Um, And then for people who need it, like me, you can just go read it.
No, I definitely get whether you know, I mean what they're the I totally understand, you know, what I mean the need for them. Absolutely. You know, what I mean like I've got me and like for example, me and my sister like our some of our genres, some of the things that we dive into, you would probably question our sanity, at sometimes.
No, some
But
people are able to read and enjoy things and it doesn't affect them. And
right,
that's
and
good. That's good. Like, I can't watch horror. I can't read horror. I have a hard time with, a lot of things. That's just because I'm a very sensitive person.
yeah,
There's
and I
nothing wrong with being able to handle really tough stuff. That's actually good.
yeah.
I'm jealous.
Yeah. Well, like and a lot of times I will, but I guess I'm just a glutton for punishment because like you know what I mean like even if I get to a triggering point in a book, I will power through that sucker. Like I don't know what it is. Like I said, just call it my gluttony. We'll go with that. But
Like, if I run into a trigger, I'll end up calling my husband and be like, this thing happened in a book. He's like, honey, I'm trying to read or I'm trying to work.
yeah, it's a lot of me calling my sister like get with this and explaining it, and she's like, no, you gotta just stop. Like you gotta stop. But no, luckily, you know what I mean, and thankfully, there's nothing too extremely triggering or anything like that. You know, there's a couple mentions of a few domestic violence situations, you know what I mean, a few abusive situations, nothing direct. So it's not anything that's going to be, you know what I mean, in your face or something that, you know what I mean, if you do have triggers or have, you know what I mean, if that's something that you do or are concerned about, that it's going to be anything that's going to affect you generally or in the long run, after reading this book. So we're good there.
Yeah, that was the goal.
Yeah,
It's like, don't hurt the readers.
yeah, yeah, because they can be a sensitive bunch.
Sensitive. And I'm a writer. Do you know how bad it is to be a sensitive writer? Oh,
Girl, I can imagine.
it's like, oh, for you. Oh, good. Yay! That's what
Utter
you like to see.
devastation. Well, I know how it is for me as a reader because, like I said, like especially if I really like a book, I obsess over it, and it's probably almost borderline unhealthy obsession. Like I am thoroughly invested in my characters to the point that I will walk around talking like my characters. You know what I mean? Sometimes for days afterwards. Like I will catch myself acting out. You know what I mean? Like I'll be sitting there reading a scene, or you know what I mean? Like I'll come over where they'll have an extra sassy scene, and you'll catch me over there bobbing my head like. Yeah, that's right. So so I was fully invested, needless to say. I was fully invested.
So, who's your favorite character?
My favorite character, not to be, you know what I mean, a sucker, but it's hands down Nirel. Just, of course, she's, you know what I mean, but even though she is the FMC, you know what I mean, and I know that's probably a super overrated thing to say, but no, it's definitely Nirel, hands down, because I like said, the way that the things that she goes through, you know what I mean, the experiences that she faces, the people that she meets, the trauma that she overcomes, just every single thing from the beginning of the book all the way to the end of the book. She's a phenomenal character. She doesn't back down. You know what I mean? Like I said, she still has that kind of young innocence. You know what I mean? She's a young character. She's in her 20s. Actually, she is 20, isn't she?
Yeah, she's just 20.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You know what I mean, she's just so she yeah, so she's just a baby still. You know what I mean, and she's already been through so much, and I feel like and it's a lot of throughout the book of gearing her up for what she's about to face. I feel like because I haven't even had a glimpse of book two. I have absolutely no idea what's going to happen. I have no idea what's going to come, but I can tell you that Nirel's going to go through a lot. Yeah,
Gonna
I already know that it's going to be that it's just going to be that much more. So the build up to the base build up of her character to get her ready for her battles to come, it's there. It is absolutely there, and I'm here for it.
So, do you want a little inside know something? However you say it. I'm adding an additional point of view to book 2.
Ooh, okay, okay. Am I allowed to ask? Oh my God, I gotta
You can
know.
ask.
I need
You
to
can ask.
know.
You want to know?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. What was
Prisha.
it?
Prisha.
Yes, yes. Oh, I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see how you play out book 2 with her, and it's gonna be in book 2, right?
Yes.
Yes, I can't wait to
So
see how
she'll
you play
be.
with her point of view, because she's become so big. Like she started out off as such a small side character. You know what I mean? Like you don't really think that she's gonna become nothing, but she is so significant by the time that the end reaches. And like the relationship that she has with, you know what I mean, like her relationship between her and Jace, I feel like it's gonna be a big foundation builder for Nirel and her relationship. And so I am stoked for that. I am so stoked for that.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited about it. And so I will actually be narrating Prisha's viewpoint in the audio
Yeah,
as
that's
well.
awesome.
Yeah, so I was going to add her anyway before I became a narrator, but then I also became an audiobook narrator recently. So I was like,
You're gonna do great. You're gonna make an amazing person, hands down.
I hope so. Trying to get all those accents down though. Still need to get Scottish, Irish, and Welsh. I'll get it.
You got this. You can do it. I have complete faith in you. And then like and I have to point out, like, I know that I keep looking down, but it's because I've got the book pulled up and I keep scrolling through and pointing out all of my favorite things because I love this book. I love it.
I'm
So
devouring it. Like it's good. It's all good.
it's all good. It's like, it's all good. Like my only complaint is I might need a few more people to die. Like I will DM you some preferences.
Girl, spill the beans. Who do you want me to?
No, okay, they might. Okay, maybe they might have. You might have to kill them off, but maybe like maim a little bit. You know, she can. Maybe Nirel could come in and she can play superhero later at some point in time. But I've got a bone to pick. Like,
With
his.
who do you? Who do
uh,
you?
so his dad for one. Corbett's dad. The only other seer. He's still alive come the end of the book, isn't he? Or is he finished? He's finished, right?
Well, in that timeline, yeah. Don't agree.
And that's what I'm talking about. I had a feeling because he went too easy. It was too easy. He deserved so much more than what he got.
Oh yeah.
Maybe I'm totally cruel hearted for saying that, but he deserved so much more than what he got. And so
Was there anyone else?
I mean, not honestly, not really. He was probably really my. I mean, like there's not really. I mean, like I think honestly, just about any other of the rude obnoxious characters that I had any kind of bones to pick with, you pretty much took care of them before the end of the book. Like you know, but I had a feeling about him though, because it's too easy for him. I need better. I need it. I need his ultimate demise to be. I don't
So
know.
while like my writing style is not like super deep. Like I got some criticism over how simple my writing style is. That said, despite that I'm a bit more of a simple writer, this story is epic.
Yeah,
And we're going to
absolutely.
be picking up on the epicness of that in book 2 and leading into book 3. Oh yeah, and by the way, there's going to be a spin-off series.
Shut up. Looking out with you. You just keep dropping the bombs on me today, and I can't.
You know what? My kids are in school and I'm lonely. So I
Girl,
need to talk to them.
I I feel it. So you know what? We could be lonely together.
Okay. No.
Well, I'll be the absolutely first one to volunteer for tribute for any future arcs or sensitivity reads that you may need because I am fully invested in Nirel. Um,
That would
I
be
love it.
wonderful,
Yeah, I love
girl.
it.
If you
And
want, let me just add you to
yeah,
the
like
team.
jot me down because I am here for it. Because because I'm a big fantasy reader, you know what I mean, and I feel like in a lot of fantasy that unless it has an awkward amount of smut in it, it's not then it's not popularized. You know what I mean? It's almost like if there's not a smexy scene shoved in there every other chapter, then you know what I mean. People turn their eyes at it. No, like they're so underrated. So underrated because this book and this book is the epiphany of that. It is quite literally the reason that you need to stay reading fantasy because it's got the I mean it's got the romance aspect in it. It's got the love twists. It's got two of them as a matter of fact. You know what I mean? And I wish I was Nirel. Let's just leave it at that.
Can we
Leave
both
it at
be
that.
like
Like, damn it, man.
I guess I could be
Why
Priscilla.
though?
I like her too.
Like, I'm here for it, and I love that you put a map in too. Like, is the map that is in the beginning of the book is that like the kingdom, like the whole kingdom that she take that they journey throughout the book.
Yes, that's the entire continent of Laban. And of course, like as an author, I world built a whole lot more than I actually put in the book. So they're mostly just in like that middle part, like where they go in Tristane and then they go down to Lysair and then they go down to the capital, which is in Austerland. And so it's
Okay,
mostly just those three provinces, but it has all seven in there, which I do reference throughout the books. And like I'll reference more of them, I think, in the second. But yeah.
perfect. No, I love when books, especially fantasy books, have their own little maps in them. You know what I mean? Because excuse me, I feel like it helps to kind of understand their world a little bit better. I mean, like obviously, you know, not everything in it is all, you know, magic. Like they're not running headfirst through portals every other second, you know what I mean? Anything like that. So it's still, you know what I mean? It's realistic, but you're able to do it in a way that, you know what I mean, like, that you can put yourself in the characters. You know what I mean? Like you can imagine living through their eyes. You can imagine being that.
That was the goal. I'm so glad. I really wanted it to be fantasy, but like to feel, have that sense of realness to it. So I'm just, makes me happy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you said book number two, we're going to be looking on it coming out in December, right?
If I can get it written fast enough. Yes. So I have some aggressive writing goals. And if I can get it done, so far I'm hitting them.
Do you have an idea of how many? Because I know you said you're gonna have a couple spinoffs too. But do you have an idea of how many you're gonna have in the series to complete it?
Yeah. So this first series will be completed with three. So it's a trilogy at this point.
Okay.
Um, then I have one prequel planned with Saint Stella. Haven't started writing it yet. And then um, whoever doesn't get the girl will have their own spin-off series later, but I'm not sure if that'll be a duology or a trilogy.
Yeah, that's later to come.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll see. Because I'm a bit of a what you call a plantser, so I plot a lot and then I pants the rest. And sometimes I
Yeah.
have to adjust the plot for the things that I just happen to throw in there.
If I come
Like,
like,
oh,
wait a
idea.
minute. Maybe that's just a little much. No, you did phenomenal though. It really was amazing. The book is amazing. And I absolutely loved it. So I'll definitely be dropping reviews on you know, I mean KU, Amazon, all of those. So be on the lookout for those guys.
Okay, and then one other thing, um, if you have Audible, I do have promo codes. And since you've been so sweet, like putting me on here and everything, I'd be happy to give you a promo code for the audiobook if you would like
Oh, thank
to
you.
do
That's
it.
awesome. Yeah. Heck
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll send you a message with that later with the
Okay.
info. So,
Perfect. You're amazing. Thank you.
oh, thanks. Well, you're amazing. You read my book and you're like talking to me about it for what, 30, 40 minutes, 50 minutes. And
I get invested. I'm sorry.
I love it. Like, I don't like as an indie author, you can kind of feel really scared and overwhelmed. And someone just saying, "Hey, I read your book. Let's talk about it." Like, I can't tell you how much it means. It means a lot. And I
Oh,
really appreciate your kindness and giving a ish about my book. You know?
well, thank you. I appreciate you guys. I honestly, you know, I mean, I didn't really dive into reading a whole lot of indie author books until here just recently within the last couple of months. And I am so glad that I did. It's completely opened totally new doors for me. And
Aw.
and then some of the books that I've read have been honestly some of the best books that I've picked up, and I've scrolled through them cover to cover so quickly, and I felt like I got so invested in some of them that it's insane. And to me, they're right up there with some of the biggest popular picks. And I don't feel like that's expressed enough for indie authors. Like you guys work double to get what you have out there. You know what I mean? Like you're pouring your heart and soul into these pages. And then a lot of you are self-published on top of that, and then you have to do your own promotions, and you know what I mean, like you, everything that you do is all you, and it's completely authentic, and I'm amazed by it. You guys blow me away. You never cease to amaze me, every single one of
Aw. You're so sweet.
you. It's the least that I can do, honestly, because you know what I mean, like I'm just a little old nobody, honestly. You know, who am I in this big bad world? But if I can jump on here and even for an hour, you know what I mean, just, and I like to do it just because it's fun. You know what I mean? I like to get to know the authors, the faces behind the books, especially if I really like them. Because once like this, doing this, talking to you for an hour, getting to know you better on kind of a personal level that we have, it's made me understand why you wrote the kind of book that you wrote, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? And that's a big reason of why I think I got into doing this, is to match the face behind the perfection.
It's really like, being an indie author, I've met a lot of indie authors and we try to, cross support each other. And it's really, really fun to see where they come from. So yeah, I see that. But like for you, you're a reader and you're like building this platform for indie authors. Like honestly, I'm just gonna be like, I knew her before she was TikTok famous. I'm serious, building us up like that. I appreciate it. I know any author that you're going to read and be kind like this, read their book and all of that. Help us promote it, help us get the word out. Like you're going to be big.
And I
In
know
my
it,
opinion.
you guys, and I know eventually you'll probably get sick of hearing me say it, but if there is absolutely anything, you know, what I mean, any kind of videos, any new promotional things, anything like that that you ever need help with, don't hesitate to reach out. You know what I mean? Like I'll shoot you my email, street team, anything like that. I'm all for it. You know what I mean? Like it's
Oh,
basically
girl, consider
what
yourself
I
added.
live for.
You're mine now.
Yeah, this is what I'm here for. So, 'cause without you and every other of the other indie authors that have shown the love and support, I wouldn't be able to do this. So it
Aw,
comes right
like
back to you guys,
my
complete full
mascara.
circle. It comes right back to you guys, complete full circle. So if you guys weren't so amazing, then I wouldn't be so amazing.
Oh.
Well, doll, I'm noticing that it is around 2 o'clock. I have got to get ready to go pick my littles up. They're
Yep.
gonna they're gonna be getting off the bus soon, but
Okay.
we are definitely gonna have to do this again.
Yes, please.
Absolutely.
Let me get minutes out. We'll
Yeah,
pencil
because
it in.
this is amazing, and I love doing this with an author like you that is really interactive. You know what I mean? Like you're here for it. You're like, oh, you want to talk books? Okay, yes, let's talk books. Like we're diving in head first, and I freaking love it.
Oh, girl, this is the highlight of my day.
It is mine too. Don't worry. No, I absolutely love it. This is I enjoy the hell out of it. I do. Excuse my potty mouth, but
Girl, you are fine. All right. Well, you have a great rest of your day with your littles, and we'll
you
talk again
too.
soon.
All right, it sounds good. Thank you. And guys,
Bye.
before I sign off, I just want to go closing one more time. Jump over KU, Audible, Amazon, download Nirel by the amazing and wonderful Sarah Emmer. It is so worth the read, guys. When I promote fantasies, I go all in, and especially this one because it is worth it. You will soar through it cover to cover, and you will not regret it. But don't just take my word for it. Jump over there, download it, check it out.
Thank you
Thank you
so
again,
much.
Sarah.